Pirkei Avos says this week, Ethics of the Fathers, chapter 4. Eizehu Ashir, who is rich? And the answer is Hasameach b'cholkei, a person who's happy with his portion and his lot. I find the words of the Mishnah that we're learning this week very apropos to the events that took place this week. One that was recognized by the entire world, and the other was local here in Detroit. Two men died in their 60s. One by his own hand, was originally from the Detroit area, and the other died of cancer. A very debilitating disease, a tumor in his brain that ultimately racked him with pain and inability to move about and to recognize, and ultimately he breathed his last. I'm talking about the deaths of Robin Williams and a friend of all the Jews in Detroit, Tzvi, also known as Howard Sherizan. Robin versus Howard. Robin was multi-talented. Robin could make the whole world laugh. Robin was as quick as a wit as I've ever seen. He transcended individual stereotype. He could go in and out of different characters in a split second. He was an amazingly gifted comedian with deep and sensitive insight into human condition as to what's important. And he would articulate it not just in his film, but in all of his conversation and books. But Robin was addicted to drugs. Robin was severely depressed. And also, he was diagnosed with Parkinson's. So he killed himself. He couldn't handle the pressures of life. Despite being exceptionally rich, famous, influential, and loved. Tzvi, on the other hand, lived modestly, worked as an insurance salesman, put his 6 children through schooling. They all became exemplary citizens, not just of this country, but of the Jewish world. They are learned, they're talented, they're respectful, and most of all, they're happy. And you know why they're happy? Because more than anything else, Tzvi was a happy man. A man who did more in a day than most of us do in a week. And this man, Tzvi, was always positive, never said an unkind word, always was trying to find a way to help another person. Concerned with the other, concerned about his own spirituality, loving his wife of 35 years and his children. And whoever came near him, he invited them into his home to share whatever he had. Let's look at that statement of the Pirkei Avot. Who is rich? Should have said Bill Gates is rich, or the man who's got more money than Bill Gates, if there is any. A multi-billionaire worth 40, 50 billion, 60 billion dollars, who owns more than some of the countries in this world, who couldn't even spend the money, the interest on his money, couldn't spend it in a lifetime. And the Mishnah says, no, that's not wealth. Wealth is somebody who's happy with his portion. Now you might say he was depressed, he was beset by a lot of problems, he could not face up to his own mortality that was staring him in the face. And here you had a contrast, a man almost of the same age from the same general area in the country, the Detroit area. So he wanted to be an attorney, but when he didn't bat an eyelash. He went into his father's business, selling insurance, making a living, and being happy throughout his career. Tzvi was generous, Tzvi was kind, Tzvi was energetic, and he had no time to pout and to worry about himself, because he was always focused on the other person. When a person is happy with his lot, then he's rich, because richness is supposed to make a person feel that everything is good, so that he can step back and see what it is that he can do to help others. Tzvi helped others, despite the fact that he earned a living like any other lower or middle class person, middle class. He wasn't wealthy by any stretch of the imagination. But Tzvi was happy, Tzvi gave charity, Tzvi gave of himself, and Tzvi made other people happy. His family, his friends, his neighbors, any acquaintance he was able to make happy. Robin was rich by any standard of dollars, but he was miserable. And in his private moments, I'm sure he made other people around him miserable. He could make you laugh, but that was for the show. In the recesses of his heart, he must have felt a void. He must have felt unaccomplished, missing something, or fearful of the reality of who he was. I wished that someone could have gone over and touched him and changed his attitude about himself and about life. It's too bad that Robin never had observed Howard, because if he had, he'd still be with us. And then Robert would be one more rich person, making other people in this world rich. How unfortunate. But we can learn from this. Ezehu Ashir, who is really rich, Hasameach b'chalko. You have to be happy with who you are, happy with what you can do, happy that you can do it, and happy enough that you share what you have with someone else. Farewell, my friend Howard Tzvi. Too bad. The friend of humanity who could have been Robin.